Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. When I made this dress a while back, someone left a comment that I should make a separate video on how to cut and sew a welt pocket. So in this video, I'll be showing you how to make a double welt pocket with flap. The first thing you're going to do is to cut out some pieces of fabric. The first one I have here is 6.5 inches in width and 1.5 inches in length. And I folded it into two. And this other one is the same length as the first one. 6.5 inches in width and 1.5 inches in length. This is for the pocket flap and I folded it into two like so. I have 3 inches for the length and 6 inches for the width. And this is the pocket envelope. This one is 10 inches in length and 5 inches in width. All these pieces I just showed you is for one side of the pocket. That means you are going to duplicate all those pieces for the second pocket. The first piece I'm working on is the pocket flap. So you're just going to close the edges of the pocket flap so that we can have something like a rectangle. So I'm just going to sew 1/2 inch on both sides so that we can have a rectangle, and I'll turn it inside out. So just sew both ends of the pocket flap like you see me doing. After sewing on both sides, make sure that you have 5 inches left because that is the measurement we are going to use for the pocket. That is, the width of the pocket on the dress will be 5 inches. Another tip is that on all the pieces I showed you earlier, you can iron your stay, your interfacing. You can iron interfacing on all the wrong side of the pieces, excluding only the pocket envelope. For me here, I'm using a very thick fabric. That is why I am not using interfacing, and it is just for this tutorial. So if you are using a light fabric, you can iron interfacing on all the pieces I showed you earlier. So now I'm just going to take it to the ironing table and press it, and I'll bring it back. The next step now is to mark where the pocket will be on the bottom part of the dress we are working on. If you're attaching this to a dress, you'll have the lower part like this. So this is the lower part of the dress, the front part. And from the top, from the waistline, I'll come down by 5.5 inches. And from the center of the skirt part of the dress, I'll go in by 3 inches. And from that 3 inches mark, I'll mark 5 inches. That is the width of the pocket. And I'll connect that into a straight line. From that line, I'll come down by 0.25 and I'll also go up by 0.25 and form a straight line. And I will just connect the ends like so. So make sure that you have exactly 5 inches. After making sure that it is exactly 5 inches, I'll come out by 1/2 inch on both sides. Just come out by 1/2 inch and mark it like so. Before marking this on the fabric, you can add your interfacing, your stay. You can add it on the fabric, on the part where you're going to put the pocket opening before you mark it out like this. And now I'm just going to cut through the center line. You're going to stop at the point where you have the 1/2 inch mark, and from that 1/2 inch mark, you're going to cut in a Y shape. You can see what I am doing here. From that point where you have the 1/2 inch mark, you're going to continue cutting in a Y shape. You're going to do the same thing to the other side also. So after cutting the center line, this is what I have. The next step is to bring the two pieces that looks exactly the same thing. You're going to place it. And mind you, this part I am showing you is the right side of the dress. This is the right side here. I am showing you the right side. So in case you're adding interfacing, note that you're adding your interfacing to the wrong side of the dress. So you're going to place the two pieces on both ends of the pocket opening and pin it down like so. And you're going to go ahead and run a stitch to secure it down. You don't have to stitch fast at this point. Stitch slowly so that you can do it right, and make sure that you end your stitch at that point you notched on the fabric. I have stitched one side and this is what it looks like. You're going to push it in like so. So I'm going to do the second one here. This is it after I was done stitching the other side. At this point, you can take it to the ironing table to press it properly. But for this tutorial, I'll just continue stitching. You can take it to the ironing table and press it properly first. Then the next step is to push in the corners like this. You're going to push it in and run a stitch on top of it. Make sure that the part where you cut in a Y shape is outside and you're going to stitch it together with the two pieces. So I'm stitching one side here, and after stitching I'll do the same thing to the other side. So but this is what this first side is looking like. You're going to push in the second one and run a stitch also. After stitching this part, the next step is to bring in the pocket flap and insert it. You're going to insert the pocket flap like this. Just insert it into the space you have there. And now you're going to measure the length of the pocket flap that you want. For this project, I'm using 2.25 as the length I want for the pocket flap. Once you have measured it properly on both sides, you're just going to stitch it down like so. You're going to stitch it together with the fabric you have at the top earlier. So just continue your stitch on top like so to secure it down. And this is what you will have after stitching. So the last step is to bring in the pocket envelope and attach it to it. So now you're going to start from the bottom part. Just place it like so and stitch the bottom part first. After stitching the bottom part, you are going to now attach it to the top and run a stitch also. And after running a stitch at the top, you are going to run a stitch on the sides of the pocket envelope to secure it together. So take the side now and run a stitch together and run a stitch on it to secure it together. You can trim out any excess you have there. Do the same thing on the other side also and trim out any excess you have there. Once you are done stitching, you can take it to the ironing table and press it properly. And after pressing, you can also overlock the raw edges on the inside of the pockets to finish it up properly. Thank you guys for watching. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button, leave a comment, share this video with your friends, and please subscribe to my channel. Turn on your notification bell so you'll get notified anytime I upload a new video. I'll see you in my next one. Bye.